4 p.m. and we ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Krusek,
Present.
trustee Page,
Present.
trustee Blair,
Please
Present.
call the roll.
trustee Annalise,
Present.
Mayor Cunningham.
Present.
Quorum established.
Present.
Thank you very much.
Trustee Page,
Present.
trustee
If
Blair.
you would please join us in a moment of silence, and we are also going to be dedicating our meeting this evening to the memory and honor of a longtime Woodridge resident. Actually, it was his hometown. And this is in honor of Donald, most of us knew him as Donnie Stern. Again, longtime Woodridge neighbor. Please join us in remembering him and his family, his friends and neighbors at this most difficult time. So our thoughts and prayers. And now we'll move to the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. I'm going to invite all of our guests that are here this evening to please lead us in the pledge, if you would.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
So this evening, we do have several items of recognition, and we would like to start with our Public Works. And if our Director of Public Works, Chris Bethel, would please introduce a very special public work person with their little daughter. We're excited. Hello, how are you, Spencer? And who do you have with you?
That's my daughter, Olivia.
Olivia. Hi, Olivia.
Say hi.
Hi. Hey.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. So this is Spencer Moser, one of our maintenance worker twos. So we have an annual award in Public Works for our Department Employee of the Year. In 2017, we had actually renamed it the Tony Fowler Award in recognition of Tony and his 4 decades of dedicated service to the village, and that it really espoused what he brought to the community and job. So you all did have a chance to meet Spencer back in, it was October of 22 when we had first hired him. He's had a major life change since then. You could probably guess what that was. He's trying to increase our population for the next census. So as a refresher, again, before Spencer came here, he had worked at a local school district as one of their lead staff members. One of the items that I think really sold us and who we thought we were getting in Spencer was he was still working at the school district at the time when the Father's Day tornado had come through. And he actually called in, took a vacation day from work in order to go out and help his neighbors. He was right in the heart of it where he lives on Janes Avenue. And that really told us a lot about who we thought Spencer was and really who he's been since he started for us. So he was nominated for this award by several peers and then recognized and selected for it by the departmental supervisors who unanimously thought Spencer was a great choice. So just to note some of the highlights that had been referenced on those submittals, that he's learned the jobs we do very quickly. He's been able to apply his knowledge to assist with problem solving. He's got a calm and professional demeanor about him. He's always willing to help out his peers at any time when we close up or during the day, and he never shies away from harder jobs on a dig. And again, I think that last one especially, it's one of the most physical and difficult jobs they do on excavations in the middle of winter, in the middle of the night, during heavy traffic. It's something that, again, very, very difficult physical and mental job. And I almost didn't recognize Spencer tonight because every day I see him, he's covered in mud from head to toe. He still has his smile on his face, which was the only way I could tell that it was really Spencer. So he brings a solid smile and positive attitude and impact everything we do on a daily basis. So a little bit about Spencer.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Director Bethel. Spencer, on behalf of the village board, the village of Woodridge, all of our neighbors throughout Woodridge and myself, congratulations to you on being named Public Works Employee of the Year. What an honor. And thank you for always going above and beyond. That's what I hear all the time. So we thank you so much and congratulate you. We're so glad you brought your daughter Olivia here, our newest resident or one of our newer residents. And congratulations to you. Truly, it's an honor. Would you like to share anything or say anything? Would Olivia like to just give a wave maybe? Bye. Well, congratulations again to you and your family. Bye.
Starstruck.
Yeah, that's okay. Take care. Thank you so much. Again, congratulations to you. Okay, we do have two proclamations this evening, and I've asked Trustee Blair to read our first proclamation on National Disability Awareness Month. Trustee Blair, please.
Whereas this year marks the 37th year the United States has recognized and celebrated March as National Disability Awareness Month. And whereas on February 26, 1987, President Ronald Reagan officially declared March as National Disabilities Awareness Month. The declaration called for people to provide understanding, encouragement, and opportunities to help persons with disabilities to lead productive and fulfilling lives. And whereas disability transcends issues of race, ethnicity, age, gender, and economic status, all are eligible. And whereas the purpose of National Disabilities Awareness Month is the enlightenment of all Americans to the abilities of the individuals and the inclusion of the needs of all its citizens in issues of equity, accessibility, education, and employment. And whereas contributions made to society, civilization, and the whole of human experience by individuals with disabilities should be acknowledged and celebrated for the benefit and the betterment of all. And therefore, Gina Cunningham, Mayor of Village of Woodridge, DuPage, Will, and Cook Counties, Illinois, does hereby proclaim March 2024 as National Disability Awareness Month.
Thank you very much. And now we do have our second proclamation, and I've asked Trustee Page to read that into our record, and that's for Women's History Month. Trustee Page?
Whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And whereas women have played and continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social roles in every sphere of the life of the nation by constituting a significant portion of the labor force working inside and outside the home. And whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic background serve as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement, and women have served our country courageously in the military. And whereas women have been leaders, not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and other movements, especially the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society for all. Now, therefore, Gina Cunningham, Mayor of the Village of Woodridge, DuPage, Will, and Cook County, Illinois, in recognition of Women's History Month, do hereby proclaim March 2024 as Women's History Month and encourage all neighbors to honor and celebrate the significance of women's contributions in American history and today.
Thank you very much, Trustee Page. Appreciate that. Thank you for reading something that I know is being celebrated as International Women's Month as well. So thank you very much. Next, we move to appointments, and actually we're going to do the appointment of Jennifer Nunez Lake first to the Board of Police Commissioners. We're going to have our clerk, if you would please help us with that. And prior to doing that, I'm going to ask please for a motion. Thank you, Jennifer. Good evening. To please approve the appointment of Ms. Jennifer Nunez Lake to the Board of Police Commissioners for the term of March 7th, 2024, today, through April 30th, 2027. Going to ask for a motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Blair. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Antilles. Any discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none. Going to ask the clerk who's up in the front, if you would please call the roll. Can we help you with that? So sorry to do that to you. Yes.
Right, trustee Page,
Aye.
trustee Blair,
Aye.
trustee Kagan. Trustee Angeles,
Aye.
trustee Krusek,
Aye.
motion carries.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Clerk Hennigan, and for your assistance. So now we'll go ahead and we, one, congratulate you, first of all. And also now we will do the oath for your office here, Jennifer. Okay? Thank you.
Okay. Right hand. Repeat after me. I, Jennifer Nunez Lake,
I, Jennifer Nunes Lake,
having been appointed
having been appointed
to the office of Board of Police Commissioners
to the office of Board of Commissioners
in the village of Woodridge,
in the village of Woodridge,
in the counties of DuPage, Will, and Cook,
the counties of DuPage, Will, and Cook,
aforesaid,
and for said,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Board of Police Commissioners
the duties of Board of Police Commissioners
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we are honored to have Jennifer join our Board of Police Commissioners, and we actually have I saw one of our police commissioners here this evening in attendance. It is our really great privilege to have you here, and please introduce us to your family if you would.
Yes, so that is my husband, Cody Lake, and my daughter, Sophia Lake. She's 2 years old.
Okay, oh, wonderful. Well, again, congratulations. And
you.
thank you very much for serving in our community and helping make the difference on the Board of Police Commissioners. So
Thank you for the
very
welcoming.
much. Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Yes. Yeah. To lower this, my apologies, but okay. So Rita Stoles, who is here this evening with us, and we'll invite her up here, is our new plan commissioner. It'll be her oath of office, but just to remind everyone, we had the honor of formally approving Rita in her appointment to the Plan Commission at our last village board meeting. And she is here tonight, and we would enjoy tremendously her coming up, and we will administer, with our clerk's help, the oath of office. So Clerk Hennigan, going to have you come up and Rita.
I, Rita Stoles,
I, Rita Stoles,
having been appointed to
having been appointed to
the office of Plan Commissioner
the office of Plan Commissioner
in the village of Woodridge,
in the village of Woodridge,
in the counties of DuPage, Will, and Cook,
in the counties of DuPage, Will, and Cook,
aforesaid,
said,
do solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Plan Commissioner
the duties of Plan Commissioner
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Rita, and thank you very much again for your service to our community. Wonderful. Thank you again. We now move to the next portion of our meeting, which is comments from the public. And first, we will start and pause to acknowledge any written public comments that we've received prior to our meeting this evening that do not relate to tonight's agenda. And if we have received those, we will enter them into our record. Administrator Stonich?
Mayor, we've received 3 prior written comments. One is from Jenny Lyle regarding signage, street signage. The other is Julie Brown in reference to the Groot contract and the program. And lastly is Sarah Myling in reference to a neighborhood concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to ask if there are any members of the public who have joined us this evening that would wish to comment on items that are not related to our agenda this evening. We haven't made- Hearing none. Okay, thank you very much for being here. So we'll now move to comments related to our agenda this evening. So we're going to pause again and acknowledge any written public comments that have been received prior to our meeting that do appear on tonight's agenda. And if we have, we would also enter those into the public record. Administrator Stonich?
Thank you, Mayor. Received one from Gary and Belo and Linda Chan in reference to the McDonald's development project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now going to also ask in our audience if anyone would like to make any or address the village board on any item that is on our agenda this evening. If so, we would invite you to the podium. Okay, seeing no one, we will go ahead and move along. Again, thank you for being here. So tonight's agenda, I'm going to ask for a motion, please, to approve items A through C and acceptance of D and N. It should be D through N, my apologies.
So moved.
Thank you. A second? Did I have a
Second.
second as well? So, excuse me, we're going to stop. I'm going to go back first of the motion.
So moved.
Thank you very much, trustee Krusek. And the second?
Second.
Trustee Kagan. Okay. Any discussion on this? Going to ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Annalise?
Aye.
Trustee Krusek? Aye. Trustee Page?
Aye.
Trustee Blair?
Aye.
Trustee Kagan? Motion passes.
We're going to have our administrator read all those items into the record for us, please.
Thank you, Mayor Cunningham. Members of the board, good evening. Item A, Resolution 2024-8. It's a resolution authorizing the mayor and village clerk to execute a certain agreement for the 2024 construction inspection services between the Village of Woodridge and V3 companies. This is in reference to the towns of Farmingdale Village M&I Homes Project 8405 Woodward Avenue. Item B, Ordinance 2024-11, an ordinance granting final plat of re-subdivision approval for International Center Unit 28, Phase 1, re-subdivision number 1. This is 2110 Wallace Way. Item C, Ordinance 2024-12. It's an ordinance granting a minor amendment to a site plan in reference to the Citgo gas station at 2340 75th Street. Item D are the accounts payable registers for the dates listed. And then items E through N are prior board meeting minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving to the mayor's report this evening, no official mayor's report tonight. However, as always, we do encourage you to please stay connected to the Village of Woodridge. We have many channels, our social media channels, as well as our weekly e-news. There's such great information. It's a busy community and we'd like you to stay connected to us and know what's going on. So please consider signing up for e-news, as well as checking out our social media pages. And now we'll move to Administrator Stonich, your report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. First item A, ordinance 2024-6. It's an ordinance amending the municipal code of the Village of Woodridge, Title 9, zoning regulations, and I believe Senior Planner Gabby Baldessari is here to present tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. We'll be presenting the zoning ordinance update that we have seen a few times at this point. But again, tonight, the full draft of the ordinance is on the agenda. I'll just briefly update what's changed since last time we were here, which was on February 15th. If you remember, there's a requirement for site plan review for properties in the M1 zoning district or ORI zoning district adjacent to residential, exclusive of right-of-way, to go through the site plan process if they're a certain size. The board direction was to change that minimum, from 200,000 to 150,000, which has been reflected and redlined in the draft ordinance that you have in front of you tonight. Also, consensus was reached regarding the fee amount for the fee in lieu that would be applied for tree preservation. That amount is $400. That's not in the zoning ordinance since that's in our fee schedule. So that will be prepared for the 321 agenda. And then one other update that staff plans on reflecting in this text before formally updating it is just the language that we are calling some of our processes. So in the current code that we have today, we have a preliminary PUD process and a final PUD process, as you're all familiar with. The draft text had contemplated changing that terminology to conceptual and final, which we felt was just confusing because we already have the process preliminary and final. So in order to keep it consistent with our subdivision code and what we've been doing in the past, we're just changing the name back. Not proposing any other changes to it, but that's not in the text tonight, but it's something that we would amend before sending it to be codified. As a reminder, there's some items that we have taken out to revisit at a later stage. Some of these were decided on the 15th and some of them were decided previously. The first one is the retail tobacco. The separation distance option is on tonight's agenda. So we'll get to that a little bit later tonight. At the next meeting, we have slated for 3 separate topics to be discussed at study sessions, including chicken coops, group homes, and a conceptual plan review policy. Items that we would revisit after that include accessory dwelling units, electric vehicle charging stations, parking requirements for commercial uses, all of the uses that are allowed in the regional business center district, and potentially updates to the subdivision ordinance. Just as a reminder, because we didn't get into this in too much detail last time, staff did update several elements within the sign ordinance. I'll just briefly run through what they were. The draft text for signs had proposed a signable area ratio that would be applied to all sign types in the village. Basically, what this means is with any wall sign or monument sign, there's a certain area where you could physically put a sign. This regulation would serve to make a ratio of the amount of area that you'd be allowed to fill up with signage. So we had gone through sign permits for the past couple of years to see how this would have applied and felt that it was valuable for wall signs and could help with aesthetics and design, but felt that it was not super helpful for monument signs where you have the amount of signage already. We felt it was more valuable to fill up that sign with words. So we have deleted it from, we've deleted the signable area ratio so that it doesn't apply to any monument signs, just to wall signs. We've also added a maximum height for awning signs, marquee signs, and blade signs. This would make it so that they can't be located on like a second or third floor where it might look a little goofy. We've removed the requirement to plant trees around monument signs. There's still a landscape requirement. Just specifically, we're not requiring trees just so that we can ensure visibility is met. We've removed pole signs as an allowed sign type in the residential district, consistent with how our current sign code regulates, but also those are more typical for like a gas station or something that was not going to be in a residential district anyway. It maybe wouldn't be a great fit there. And we created a minimum clearance for those pole signs just to make sure that vehicles or people could pass safely under them. That summarizes what has changed since the last time. You know, everything that didn't really get finalized has been removed. And in hopes that we're able to, move things forward tonight. So this concludes the presentation for this ordinance. And we're available for questions.
Thank you very much, Gabby. So now we'll turn and ask our board if there's any questions or deliberations. Any board member have any questions?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, trustee Krueger.
I know that this isn't until the next meeting, but on the tree fee, will there be a mechanism to adjust it annually based on inflation?
So it's going to be part of the fee schedule, which is annually reviewed and approved by the board. So increases in any fee, including this fee, would be annually considered by the board.
Okay, can we make a note of it to look at it when we actually look at it? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, please? No further questions. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve ordinance 2024-6. Motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Krusek. A second.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Page. Any further questions or discussion? Going to ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Blair.
Aye.
Trustee Kagan.
Aye.
Trustee Annalise.
Aye.
Trustee Krusek.
Aye.
Trustee Page.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next, item B, ordinance 2024-7, an ordinance approving map amendments rezoning all OSB zone parcels to B2 and updating the McAdams RPUD and Seven Bridges RPUD to reflect the existing land uses. And once again, Senior Planner Gabby Baldessari is here to present.
Hi again. So there are several updates to the zoning map proposed that go hand in hand with the zoning code update. The zoning code text no longer includes OSB as there was a limited amount and now has combined OSB with B2. Also, we have eliminated the designation of regional plan unit development. Okay, and combine that with the plan unit development. They were not different in terms of regulation. It was just title and area. So those will be combined into one term as the planned unit development. And I'll get into these specific changes here. So there were only 3 areas of town that are zoned OSB. One is pictured here where the Chase Bank is at the corner of Lamont and 75th Street. So all the offices here were allowed by right in OSB and would continue to be in the B2 zoning district. The bank does have a special use permit for a drive-through in OSB, which would continue to be applied to the bank in the future in the B2 zoning district. Similarly, here along Woodridge Drive, the medical and dental clinics that are located here are allowed by right in both the former OSB and future B2. The fire station does have a special use permit, which again would continue to be applicable in its different zoning district. And then the last area zoned OSB right now along Hobson Road contains medical and dental clinics, offices that are allowed by right and will continue to be, and then also a daycare with the special use permit that will continue to apply to it. The McAdams Regional Plan Unit Development, or now Plan Unit Development, was adopted all at one time with ORI zoning, which, as we all know, is not reflective of the uses that are allowed there or existing there. And the reason this is this way is because the Plan Unit Development document regulates what uses can go there much more thoroughly than the zoning might. However, we feel it would be appropriate to update the zoning to best reflect what exists there and what can locate there, so that we are communicating to residents, neighbors, potential buyers, assessors, brokers, anybody that needs to know what is on the property or what can go there, what the options are, just so they understand realistically what can go there. Because if you look at our zoning map, none of this is actually office research light industrial, nor is that the plan. So this update would just help better communicate that. It wouldn't actually give any new rights to the properties or take any away, as the PUD would still be the regulating document here. Very similarly, in the Seven Bridges Planned Unit Development, The zoning map changes are proposed to show what is existing and what would be allowed through the PUD document rather than just calling everything ORI, which again is not what we have or are looking for there. And this concludes the map presentation.
Thank you again, Gabby. Going to now turn and ask the board if any questions or deliberations. Any questions from any board member? Trustee Krusek? Do we have any questions? No? Trustee Page? Okay, well, thank you very much. Going to ask for a motion to approve ordinance 2024-7. A motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Blair. A second.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Krusek. Any further deliberations or discussions? Hearing none, if our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Blair.
Aye.
Trustee Kagan.
Aye.
Trustee Annalise.
Aye.
Trustee Krusek.
Aye.
Trustee Page.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next item C is ordinance 2024-13, an ordinance amending the village code of the Village of Woodridge, Title 3, Chapter 8, Sections 2 and 5. This is the business license and provisions for tobacco dealers. And Senior Planner Gabby Baldessari is here again. Thank you.
Okay, so this is something that we have looked at before, but we do have a specific text amendment that is available for adoption tonight, should the board choose to do so. In the zoning code text, we currently have tobacco listed as an allowed use in B1 and B2. This is consistent with the old code and also consistent with where they are located right now. The proposal in front of us tonight would create a required separation distance between tobacco retailers. Tobacco retailers would be defined as tobacco stores where at least 50% or more of what they sell is tobacco. So this restriction wouldn't apply to a gas station or to the grocery store that sells tobacco products. It applies to the cigar stores, vape shops, where tobacco is the main retail source. As of right now, there are 5 shops. The proposal would create a minimum distance requirement of half a mile so that any new tobacco retail stores would have to locate at least a half a mile away from any existing retail stores. This would thereby create a maximum, as there is only a limited amount of places once you get a half mile away from all the other ones that we could have them in the village. It does create 2 that are currently within a half a mile of each other. So the way the text is written, if they tried to sell their business, we would not allow them to continue the use. However, if they did not, they would be allowed to continue the use. This would be regulated through the license section rather than zoning. So this is a text amendment to Title 3 licensing rather than 9 of the zoning code. I know it's a lot of text for a slide, but I do have the text up here. It's in the packet as well, but this explains what the limitations would be regarding selling and attempts to explain how much of it you can sell before you can officially not be allowed to transfer. I'll leave this up here.
So thank you again, Gabby. So we'll now turn to the board. Any questions and deliberations? Any board member? Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to now ask for a motion to approve ordinance 2024-13. A motion, please. So moved. Thank you, trustee Annalise. A second.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Page. Any further questions or discussions at this point? Okay, seeing none, if our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Kagan.
Aye.
Trustee Annalise.
Aye.
Trustee Krusek.
Nay.
Trustee Page.
No.
Trustee Blair.
Aye.
Motion passes.
No, just to clarify, need 4 affirmative votes. I believe the mayor has to weigh in, Mr. Clark.
So the mayor would vote aye.
Now motion passed.
Now, motion passed.
Next, item D, ordinance 2024-14. Village Board consideration of a request for a special use permit for a recreation establishment pickleball in the B2 district at 7250 Woodward Avenue. And this is in the Center Point Shopping Center.
As Al mentioned, this is in the Center Point Shopping Center. This is a request for a special pickleball special use permit located in the former Office Max location, which is just under 25,000 square feet. The applicant has an existing location already, so these are pictures of what the existing location looks like that will be similar to what the proposed location would look like. And I will leave it there.
Thank you very much again, Gabby. Any questions regarding this item? Thank you. Going to ask please for a motion to approve ordinance 2024-14.
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Page. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, trustee Antalese. Any further discussion on this item? If our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Annalise,
Aye.
trustee Krusek,
Aye.
trustee Page,
Aye.
trustee Blair,
Aye.
trustee Kagan. Motion passes.
Next, item E, ordinance 2024-15. This is M&I Homes for Farmingdale Village Townhomes, major amendment to a regional planned unit development in McAdams for additional signage at 8405 Woodward Avenue.
And can I just state what the approval is for, Al? Allow a second temporary construction sign?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you very much. Going to ask for a motion, please, to approve ordinance 2024-15, please.
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Blair. A second?
Second.
Thank you, trustee Krusek. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, if our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Krusek,
Aye.
trustee Page,
Aye.
trustee Blair,
Aye.
trustee Kagan,
Aye.
trustee Annalise.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next, item F, resolution 2024-9, a resolution awarding bid number 2024-01 for Parkway Tree Trimming Services to D. Ryan Tree and Landscape LLC in the amount of $56,412 for the base work area.
Thank you very much. Going to ask for a motion to approve resolution 2024-9, please.
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Page. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, trustee Antalese. Any further discussion on this item? If our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Page,
Aye.
trustee Blair,
Aye.
trustee Kagan,
Aye.
trustee Annalise,
Aye.
trustee Krusek.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next, item G, resolution 2024-10, a resolution authorizing the village administrator to execute a final balancing change order with J. Congan Sewer Services, Inc. at 75th Street. This is in reference to the 75th Street Frontage Road Water Main Replacement Project.
If I could please have a motion to approve resolution 2024-10, please.
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Krusek. And a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Blair. Any discussion on this item? If our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Blair,
Aye.
trustee Kagan,
Aye.
trustee Annalise,
Aye.
trustee Krusek,
Aye.
trustee Page.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, if I could please, on items H, I, and J, the next three agenda items all relate to the proposed McDonald's development at Dunham and 75th Street in the Woodgrove Shopping Center. The applicant has requested that this pending matter be continued to a future meeting. So I'm going to therefore ask for an omnibus motion to continue the item, but I'm going to ask our administrator to review all three items. Okay?
Thank you, Mayor. Item H is ordinance 2024-3, an ordinance granting a major amendment to an approved final plan and plat of planned unit development, including certain exceptions, a special use for a drive-through and a final plat of subdivision. Again, this is the Woodgrove Festival, McDonald's, North American Real Estate, 1335 West 75th Street. That's item H. And then item I is Resolution 2024-5, a resolution authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a certain improvement agreement between the Village of Woodridge and North American Real Estate Group for the Woodridge Management LLC. This is also 1335 75th Street, McDonald's project. Lastly, item J, Resolution 2024-6, a resolution authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a certain traffic regulation agreement between the Village of Woodridge and Nair Woodridge Management LLC, also 1335 75th Street, the McDonald's project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Administrator Stonich. So now, therefore, I'm going to ask for an omnibus motion to continue agenda items H, I, and J to our March 21st, 2024 meeting. Going to ask for a motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Page. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Antilles. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, if our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Page,
Aye.
Trustee Blair,
Aye.
Trustee Kagan. Aye. Trustee Annalise,
Aye.
Trustee Krusek.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, everyone. Adjournment will be next, but with no further business to discuss, we do have the need to convene into an executive session immediately following our adjournment. The purpose of the executive session is to review and discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. May I please have a motion to adjourn our regular meeting of the Village Board?
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Krusek. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Antilles. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? The motion carries. We are adjourned. It is 7:40.